in that moment, it was like I was feeling my body for the first time. It was like I was actually, I could sense this part of me that I had locked away or forgotten.
Psychedelics are said to shift our fixed perspectives, giving us a bird's eye view of our own lives and helping to remove the lenses of cultural, religious, and social conditioning through which we are taught to see the world. They are being used therapeutically and somatically to treat depression, addiction, PTSD, and trauma, and many are using them to explore the ineffable, those unknown realms of consciousness and beyond. Join us in Adventures of the Psyche as we learn how psychedelics have transformed people's lives. Welcome, friends, to Adventures of the Psyche. Today we are joined by Hanifa Nayo Washington, who tells the story of how her first ayahuasca journey made her aware of dissociative patterns and what happened when she began to reconnect to her body. Hanifa is an award-winning cultural producer and sacred activist, combining arts, healing, and activism to make the world a better place. She's a co-founder of the Fireside Project, serving as Cultivator of Beloved Community, a founding member of the Equity and Psychedelic Therapy Initiative, and an advisory board member of Reconsider at Lundy Farm.
I first came into relationship with ayahuasca in my mid to late 30s. I'm 43 now. And so it was a really powerful time in my life when I came into actually being in ceremony with medicine. Before, I was pretty much doing it recreationally or and as like a cleansing thing, but never with ayahuasca. I didn't know what ayahuasca was. And so a very trusted friend of mine invited me into a ceremony. And I was really in this place of wanting a breakthrough. I had done therapy for years. I still do therapy. And I just kept coming to this kind of stopping point around how to release the trauma, right? So I talked about it, discovered it, written songs about it, but I was not able to release it from my body. And so I was looking for support on how to do that. And I was hoping that this ayahuasca experience would help me with that. So the first experience I had was a Santo Daime experience, which requires it's very ceremonial, there's lots of dancing and singing. And I remember being quite nervous as I watched one by one people go up to the leaders and receive their medicine, and the folks coming around one by one and giving the sangha and the rape to clear ground. My nervousness kept growing. And so finally it was my time to go up, and I do. And there was this beautiful family that had come up from Peru who were holding this space for us. And I just remember like looking into this man's eyes, and he was saying some blessing in Spanish over me and the medicine. And I just remember looking in this little cup and just surrendering, just sort of saying, okay, I'm just gonna be, I have my intentions, and I'm just surrendering to what this medicine is. And so I took it, and then sat down. The way this sort of ceremony is, you're standing up, moving, but within 10 minutes or so, I was like, oh, I have to sit down. So I kind of sat down and I got into my own space. The room was full of sound and moving and singing, and the sounds of the guitar. And it really began to sort of surround me like a womb. I kind of went into this kind of womb state as the medicine began to go deeper in. And I definitely felt like it was this force, and that there was definitely a mother. And she was like, I'm going to explore. I'm going to see what's going on in your system now. And we're going to keep going deeper. So there was like this kind of surface level body scan into the tissues, looking at what things were holding in the memory. And she just kept being like, we're going to go deeper now. We're going to go deeper now. We're going to go deeper now. And I just remember at some point, my legs were out in front of me as I was sitting, and my hands were kind of at my thighs, and I was rocking back and forth. And I really went to some other dimension or to some other place in my mind that I've never been before. So it was a little disorientating. But I was trusting it and allowing. And she, I say she, Mama Aya, was like, I'm taking you to a core place right now. And in that, and it wasn't like in that voice or in those words, but it was a feeling of like, this thing is taking you somewhere. And as I went deeper into it, I experienced in real time myself being like a child, like being 8 or 9 years old. The feeling of the space that I was in was like in my childhood home, um, and um, and I was also sitting with my legs out in front of me, rocking back and forth like that, rubbing my legs. And I was rubbing my legs because they were in deep, deep pain. And I was in this place of having been just recently like beaten, whooped, as they say, and for something very trivial. And it was severely physically debilitating. And it wasn't the first time, it wasn't the last time. And it's so interesting now because I just started listening to Oprah Winfrey's latest book, What Happened to You? And this type of punishment happened to me quite frequently as a little one. Um, and this particular time was pretty hard. And, Mama, I was like, this, you have to sit with this and be in this, like, because this is this time when you began to actually leave your body. Like this is a time when you started to say, I can't be here anymore, and I need to leave to remain safe. And so it was like she was coaching me to be like, I need you to stay in your body. Like we're going to practice in this moment, back when you were 8 or 9, staying in your body. And so what do we have to do to be here? And so I'm hearing the sound of the music in the back. And I know that I'm an adult in a room somewhere, but I also am very physically back as that 8 or 9 year old little Nifa. And I'm rocking, and I just start to kind of hum to the sounds that are in the room, the music playing. And I'm humming and humming, and I'm rocking back and forth. And I can literally feel that part of my being trying to leave. And I remember, oh yeah, I did that. I did that. That was a thing. And it became such a practice for many, many years of just like, okay, it's time to leave the body because it's too hard to stay here. And so I sat there. I don't know how much time went by, but I was rocking back and forth and humming to the music and just rubbing my legs, just rubbing them and saying, it's okay, rubbing my knees. And in that moment, it was like I was feeling my body for the first time. It was like I could sense this part of me that I had locked away or forgotten. Um, and so I remember shortly after that, I was like really crying. And the way the room was set up, like men were on one side of the room and women were on the other, totally binary, totally fucked up. But anyway, that's what was happening. And the women came and they were blowing smoke on me and cleansing me. And it was bringing me back into the room and praying. And I just was so thankful for that experience and knowing that I could go there and actually remembering how to go back there outside of ceremony. So there was a lot of integration afterwards. And I, continued to be in ceremony around this process of going to these hurtful places of pain and staying in them and then transmuting them with Mama Aya in that moment back in time in this way. And I've done lots of work since. And I think that there's so much trauma that we all hold. And I think having these safe places to explore them is just this huge gift. And I'm so thankful to the plant medicine. I'm so thankful to the keepers of the medicine. And I don't know who I would be today if I wasn't able to find that breakthrough and that relationship.
Thank you so much for sharing. Mm. So, how did reconnecting to your body, and for those who are new to this, this is, this is dissociation that you were doing when you left your body to deal with the hard experiences. How, how have how did that experience directly impact your life afterwards?
The the medicine in that process helped me to know how to get into myself. It helped me to find a pathway so I could get back to that little person, to my the little Nifa. Like so, and so it helped me to begin to actually have a way to communicate with her and to be in relationship and sort of rebuild this relationship with my inner child and my this kind of core self. It helped me to soften, really. It helped me to soften, and to be more compassionate with myself and to just, yeah, to know that I've endured a lot of pain. And also, it helped me have a pretty huge breakthrough with my mother, um, as well. Um, Not because I went to her and said, "Hey, I did an ayahuasca trip and these things came up," but because I just saw her in a different way and was able to see her, yeah, in her fullness, in her woundedness. It united me to want to understand, just epigenetics more as well, and how traumas are passed down, and understanding that that was something that was happening, at that very young age as well. This experience also really ignited me to, like, I want this for all people. I want all people to have access to these types of experiences, um, and care, because they are so powerful, particularly when coupled with therapy. And so, in 2019, I started One Village Healing, which is an initiative, that basically is like, hey, we're going to focus the needs of those most impacted by systems of oppression to have integrative wellness practices available and free. Like, there's a mental health crisis, and also I really feel like in the BIPOC community, um, it's not even, it's beyond a crisis. It's a, is the pandemic, I don't know, but it's so core, there's so much pain, and we need all the tools that we can have access to be healing, because the system is so broken and we are constantly in high stress, right? And so as folks who live in systems that are still actively oppressing us, so you can go get therapy and you can go sit with Mama Aya, but then you still have to go out into a society that, like, is built to disrupt your spirit and your freedom. And so, like, the resilience that I need to show up fully and be in my gifts and dream work, like, for me, it's like I need these practices, I need these ceremonies to help cleanse and continually to break apart those chains that are um, that are that are there.
How can people learn more about One Village Healing?
You can find us on all of the social media platforms, particularly our Instagram platform is One Village Healing. Our website is onevillagehealing.org. And yeah, you can go there, you can see all of our offerings, and you can sign up for classes and register. Also, we offer, all of the practitioners have some sort of one-on-one services as well. So you can get, spiritual wellness coaching, you can get, sign up for, one-on-one Reiki, clearness, all types of stuff. So please check us out.
Thank you so much, Hanifa, for sharing.
Thank you so much for having me here. It was really, really a cathartic process. And, I'm a big believer in storytelling and sharing. It's because it's a living process.
Thank you. Yay, what a joy.